Felicity from GetYourRockOut here with Kobi from Orphaned Land. How are you today?
Very well, very happy to be here. We had a great concert, great audience. Seems like UK starts to realize who we are and they start to follow us, and I'm really happy to be here. It's very strange times in my country, so it's on a personal level, it's also great to be out of rockets flying above your head, running for shelter, just be on a metal festival, which the way we should all do and be. So I'm feeling great to be here and feeling sorry for the rest of the Middle East who cannot do the same thing.
So have you been at home a lot lately amidst all of this?
Yeah, I've been home through all of July. It was the blackest July of my life, but with that said, the amount of mails and letters that we get from fans saying that we give them hope, that we're like a sparkle in the dark for them, that they listen to our music, that thing motivates me to be even stronger. Yeah.
And why have you kind of made the decision to stay at home and not try and stay away while all this is going on?
Well, two reasons. It just happened that we don't have any shows or traveling in July, and that's my home. I don't want to run away from my home. I want to be in my home for good and bad. I have family, I have grandmothers, I have parents, I have friends, and I don't want to run away.
It must be absolutely horrendous for you, just not, being kind of away as well at the moment and not knowing how everybody is. I just can't even imagine how tough it must be.
Yeah, imagine everything here is like as normal as it is now, but then you have a siren, and in that siren you have half a minute to run for shelter. All of us here needs to run for shelter because somewhere up there in the sky there is a rocket who threatened to fall on you and to blow you away. And that's a tragic situation, and I'm not blaming any side in wars. I think that in wars there isn't any right or wrong. I think that everybody is wrong. I have Palestinian friends, we get along. There isn't any problem, we don't have any conflict whatsoever.
Even now you're still getting along?
Of course, especially now. Wow. Especially now, we're sending songs to each other, we're writing to each other. Of course, I'm sympathizing more with the Israelis because I live in Israel, and they're sympathizing more with the Palestinians, but that doesn't mean that we are against each other. And these are terrible days, really, terrible days in the Middle East, and I can only wish and write songs and hope for better days. That's what I do.
It's just so difficult because there just doesn't seem to be an easy answer or a way that everything will sort itself out.
No. People doesn't want to really get out of it. They love to be self-victimized and they love to be self-righteous, and no one is willing to open a dialogue. No one is willing to listen to the other side. But luckily we have music, and we have our music, Orphaned Land's music. We are one of the most common things between Israelis and Arabs is that a huge amount of people share love for Orphaned Land. So what can we do?
Wow. And your last album was recorded in like a Christian country, in a Muslim country, in a Jewish country, and I think that kind of thing is just wonderful. I just think there need to be more bands that actually, I think so many people, they sing about girls and drugs and getting drunk.
Yeah.
And you just don't. Everything you do is so meaningful, and it's I think what you're doing is such a positive step.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you can even add to the equation that most of our fans are even atheists, because metal people, the way that they succeed to coexist is probably the fact that they are atheists. So you can be from a Muslim, Jewish, Christian, black background. You can be, I don't know, Hindu, Arab, Israeli, or British. But metal, heavy metal, is a great community that unites people, and I'm very proud to be a singer of a metal band, actually, because of that.
It's so positive to hear you, kind of saying all these things. I mean, have you had a lot of negative reaction from some fans because you're an Israeli band?
Of course, the war is a trigger also to the rise of anti-Semitism all over. And I'm listening to, I don't know, even British politicians who are saying, okay, now in Bradford there will be no Israeli or Jew. And I'm like, but why, dude? What do you have against me? I'm an Israeli and I'm a Jew. How can you be so racist towards me? What have I done? Have you said the same thing because of what's happening in Syria towards Syrians? Have you said the same thing towards Iranian because of what is happening in Iran? In Iran, they still kill homosexuals with stones. Are you forbid Iranians to enter Bradford as well? I think people should be responsible. Anti-Semitism, racism shouldn't be anywhere. Doesn't matter if it is a war. It doesn't matter if children are dying in Gaza. Don't be anti-Semite. Don't be racist. Try to find a way of dialogue. Don't justify one side. One of the mistakes is people always do it. They're taking sides. There isn't any side. Let me tell you this. If you have a girlfriend and your girlfriend cheated on you, obviously everyone thinks it's her fault. But what are the things that led her to do that? We should look at the picture on a wider scale. And sometimes we could even figure that she cheated on you because you're not a good husband or you're not a good friend. So there's always more than meets the eye. Always, always. If you're only pro-Palestinians are dead, I can definitely understand and sympathize that. I cry for Palestinian kids who die. But I can assure everyone that it's not only Israel's fault. Israel didn't wake up in the morning and said, okay, let's kill some Palestinian kids. We're in the mood to do that. That's not the case. And I expect people to be more wise, to look at things on a more wider scale, and I can only hope that they will listen.
Because I think people, they want to come across as though they know what they're talking about, and they want to come across as caring, and so they pick a side that looks the most friendly, and they're like, we'll support these because these are the...
and they're fed up with the news. And for some reason, the news find the story of Israel and Gaza more sexy than Syria. I mean, here's a fact. In the 30 days of fight in Gaza, I think 1,800 Palestinians died, including warriors of Hamas, including innocents. That's a tragedy. I'm never gonna say it's not. But that's the amount of people that just died in Syria on a weekend. So here's my question. Why doesn't the media cover that the same way or even more? Because that same amount died on a weekend and that same amount died on a month. What is that selection that they are doing? I cannot understand that.
Well, Syria was popular for, I think, a few weeks, and then people get bored of one thing, and so the media are like, right, we'll pick on something else, and that's simply all it is.
So this is so let me get this straight. It's actually entertainment. The media is an entertainment.
It seems to be going that way. It seems to me as though our media are basically finding the most shocking things that they can find, blasting that down people's throats for like a couple of weeks, and then moving on to the next thing. And it's a disgusting.
What about people? Have they gone to protest on the street for Syria and Iraq the way they did for Gaza? I mean, I'm all for Gaza. Do that. But what about protesting also for Syria? 15,000 children have died in Syria. We wrote songs for them. I don't know what else can we do. I cannot go there and save them. But you have to understand how hypocrite it looks like sitting on the Middle East. I'm from the Middle East. I'm running away from rockets. And to being criticized from people who sit so far away, fed up with the news and stuff. Do me a favor. Come to the Middle East, live there for, I don't know, a month, and judge for yourself.
I spent a couple of weeks in Afghanistan in the middle of the war,
Right.
and like there's been nothing in my life that has changed my opinion on so many things as quickly as that did. And you hear all these terrible things. It's like, oh, the Afghans are this, they're that, and you know they're not. They're people who are trying to live lives, and like there are people
Of
who are
course.
building houses that are riddled with bullet holes.
Of course.
and it's-
How many innocents were killed by the British Army in Afghanistan?
I dread to think.
How many innocents were killed in Iraq by the American army? I can tell you the number. It says 66,000. Where are the people who are going for the streets to protest against Israel? The people who put a swastika on the Israel flag? I don't accept it. I don't agree with it. I'm a man of peace. I'm bringing people together. If they feel fine on taking a side, if they think that they're doing something right, let me tell you, they're doing the complete opposite. Completely the opposite. That's my 2 cents.
No, I would agree, because I mean, as soon as people start taking sides, and it turns into even more than it already is, and people feel as though they're justified in doing what they're doing because they're like, well, we have the support of this country, so we're doing the right thing.
People tell me all the time, listen, 1,800 died in Gaza. You people are not dying. So, and I cannot understand, is it a football game? We are running for shelters. We have shelters. Hamas never built shelters for the people of Gaza. So, the people of Gaza are dying. This is a war. We are running for shelter. Excuse me for not dying. That's what we're saying. And let me say another thing. In World War II, more Germans died than British soldiers. So what does it mean? That the Nazis were right? I mean, how do you judge? What is what is the equation here that you judge? Based on what?
It's just ridiculous. I think I'm rather ashamed of my country's media and the people that claim to be educated and claim to know what they're talking about, when all they're doing is trying to make themselves look better by supporting the right side.
Yeah, you don't know how terrible it is to run away from rockets and to hear that criticism on top of that.
No, it's just terrible, and I just can't even imagine what it must be like for you to have to put up with that. It's horrendous.
Well, I'm fine. I mean, compared to the children, compared to the old men, compared to women, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I'm a messenger of hope, and I'm bringing hope to people with my band. I'm fine. But the thing is that there's still so much more need to be done, and I would expect people in the international community to learn more about that.
I really, really hope that will be the case.
I hope
really
so too.
do. And it's been a huge, huge pleasure to talk to you.
Same here.
I really, really hope that it's ridiculous saying that the next few months are as good as possible. It's a ridiculous thing to say, but I really hope that you stay safe.
Thank you.
And carry on spreading the message of peace.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here and for talking to people. Thanks a lot.
It's been a huge pleasure.
Cheers.
Thanks.